How's it going, Internet? I'm WavePunk, and welcome to Trackmania Tuesdays on a Friday, which is the best thing ever. I actually sat down to record this on Tuesday or on Monday, and so it would come out on Tuesday, and my computer needed some serious upgradage and stuff. So anyways, it's coming out a bit late, but that's okay. One of the videos Greg suggested I should talk about education and what my education was like, what sort of subjects I liked, all that interesting stuff, and especially I think that'll be interesting for you viewers and how things are different over here in the States. But my answer is not going to be as helpful as someone else's would be, because I was homeschooled K through 12 all the way up to college. And it started in a very simple sense that my family was military and we moved around a lot, so it made more sense for just my mom to do a lot of the teaching, and not have to be switching schools all the time. But it's still, even though once we settled down around when I was 7 years old or so, and so we just kind of kept going because it was what we were used to, and there was a big homeschooling community in Fort Worth, Texas, where we were stationed finally. And so we stuck with that, and we kept doing it. And it was an amazing experience in so many different ways. And there's so much just different, I don't know, it was, I don't know how to describe how different it was, because at the same time I didn't experience public school at any time to really make a comparison, And there's a lot of stereotypes about homeschoolers. That were antisocial or were super nerdy or whatever. And the funny thing is, all of them are true to various degrees. And I knew people growing up who fulfilled all of the characteristics, all of the stereotypes. They were 100% the homeschooler you would see in the movie. And it was funky, but there was also people on the far end of the spectrum who were very normal and just happened to do their schooling at home. And there was definitely downsides. There were definitely downsides to homeschooling. The biggest thing is kind of that maybe the antisocial thing is not as much that the kids aren't social, that we weren't social with each other, because you would meet up with lots of other homeschoolers and do all sorts of fun stuff together. There was lots of homeschooling organizations and things to kind of take the place of the different school things that a school would bring. So you would learn to socialize and stuff. It wasn't that you had problems socializing, it was just that you were doing it in this bubble. And the bubble is maybe the biggest downside to homeschooling that I can personally associate. That the parents are all part of it. There's always this kind of underlying thing of the parents being we want to teach our kids the way that we think things should be, and then a whole bunch of parents get together and do that, and then all of a sudden they create this microcosm that doesn't actually have much of a bearing on the outside world. And so when you start to move out of the world, when you go to college, when you get a job and stuff, and then all of a sudden there's cultural trends, there's things that people do, there's expressions people use, there's things that you just don't understand because that wasn't a part of the little microcosm world that you were in. And so it created its own culture, and the culture was definitely separated from the surrounding world, and that was a problem. And so when you moved out and did other things, you would kind of get blindsided by the rest of the culture, That was a big part of it. I'm trying to think of another big downside. There were things that we missed out on. There was no such thing as a homeschool marching band. That's not a thing. But there were homeschooled sports, and there were homeschooled choirs, and there were homeschooled orchestras, and homeschooled book fairs and science fairs and all these different things, So while, there was these things that made it maybe not as good on this one end, with the whole social thing, on the other side, you had an amazing educational experience that was built specifically for you. And you had, whatever your best learning ability was, the way that you learned the best, you got to have that catered to your learning style. If you wanted to go outside and be hands-on, you could do that. If you read books in your room all day, that was great. And and if you needed to be around people, there was homeschooling organizations where you could go and have choir, or you'd have a whole bunch of moms and families would come together. My mother was a nurse, so she would teach biology, and she would teach the different science classes, and someone else's mom had a degree, was an English major, and so she would teach grammar and all these other subjects like that. And so it was really this really good thing where everyone got to work together, and it was very, very much the teacher student relationship was excellent, and you could go talk to anybody anytime. You were there around your friends who you hung out with all the time, and doing all your classes together and stuff. So I mean, there was a lot of stuff that people are like, oh, you were just sitting in your house all day. And yes, there were homeschoolers who did that, but the vast majority of us never did. The vast majority of us were doing stuff outside and with other people all the time, and it was an incredible experience. There was another good point I was gonna make. It's escaping me. No, come back. Oh, favorite subjects. That was the next thing that Gregan asked about. It was, I really enjoyed the literature stuff. You know, like the creative writing portion. Creative writing was definitely my favorite thing. I never had a class specifically on creative writing, but anytime I got to write like fiction, I had so much fun. That I really enjoyed. And, and then anything music related, I was in a choir. I did guitar, I did piano and everything, and those things I really enjoyed. The choir was amazing. Oh my gosh, like it's just as legit as any choral experience you'll have in any school. Like it was like 200 members large. It went on a tour every summer that was like 2 weeks long for just like, we went to Washington DC, we went to Colorado, we went to all these different places, and it was awesome, So like the program, while yes, homeschooling has its downsides, it also has some amazing upsides. It has just a fantastic stuff that builds education to where you become the best person you can be. And that's what education is all supposed to be about, right? To bring you to your maximum potential. So anyways, that's been Trackmania Tuesdays. Went a little bit long-winded on this one. It's gonna be okay, but anyways, yeah. Have fun, like, comment, subscribe, all the good YouTuber stuff. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.